we don't normally end early, and we are ending a little early. I grab this. I want to thank everybody for showing up here. I think it just reminds me in particular of how much people care about White Lake. I think White Lake is such an interesting story because, you know, we're a comeback story. We had some pretty high level pollution. The tannery put us on the cover of Life magazine in 1968. Hooker Chemical, Brett Hume, if you remember him, came here to interview people, and we were, you know, in the news along with the Love Canal, you know, similar to which Hooker Chemical was responsible for in New York. They were worse there than here. But I think it's a story of, I think our story is people who spoke up even though it was not popular. It's people who put the long hours in. And it was a variety of people. When we got the Public Advisory Council started, the state of Michigan and the federal government were not going to do anything. They'd already kind of said, hey, you know, these things have been done and we're okay with this. And there were a number of us who said, no, not so fast. But it was a hard push to get that moving again. And one of the first things we did is just set up our own Public Advisory Council. So we were a self-directed Public Advisory Council, whereas in the other areas of concern in the Great Lakes, it was usually the federal, state, or the provincial government that set up and run these organizations. So I've been very proud about how self-directed we are, and also all of the different individuals and groups that care about White Lake and do their part. And so I think, you know, it's important to me to see that that's continuing, and I applaud everybody for that. A couple things to note. One, I actually have some good news, and it's a little bit of a surprise. So, knowing that it was the 10th anniversary, Dr. Rick Radisky from the Annis Water Resources Institute and we worked together on a lot of things. He was very involved in restoration of White Lake, and we decided that as part of our effort, we would look at the information from 2014, and we would review it and pull together a comprehensive briefing paper and present it to the public. And it is distinctly different from what the White Lake Association is doing. What they do definitely complements what we're doing. But for example, before we delisted, there was a briefing paper done that documented everything that we knew about all of the 13 sites of contamination. And we plan to update that so we know who's still in charge, who's the contacts, are the things that the community need to be advocating for. DuPont is not the only one. To be clear, these sites are not affecting people's public health or anything like that. That's one reason that we did that briefing paper. Then the 10 public and private habitat restoration sites that were mentioned by the Conservation District, we're going to take a look at those and see where we're at with those and other areas involved in that. And then we're going to be looking, as people who were involved for well over 20 years, we're going to look at some of the things we might recommend that we need to be doing. So, but I think White Lake is the better for all of us here, and I want to thank you. But we just got funding to do that, so that was exciting. I found out on Friday. So,
congrats.
Yeah. I don't know too many people who want to talk about BUIs and all the technical terms that Claire puts forward in the White Lake Association. It must be a little nerdy part of our brain. So we do have Mark Muir, one of the former owners of the Book Nook, has donated some money so that Brooke has made some treats for us. And then also we have Chris and Eric who are coming at 4:30 to play music. And I hope you stick around and network a little bit, have some treats, chat and catch speakers if you have questions. And also tip the musicians as well, because they are playing, for our pleasure, and they're not paying for play except for the tips. So anyway, I want to thank you again, and thank everybody who participated today. So.
Thank you.